Let me see here. One moment. Let me just see where my slides are appearing. Just a second. Can you see my slides now? Are you able to see it? Let me begin again. Maybe. Yes, I'm sharing. Let me see if you can see my slides. Just a second. Let me know, okay, if you see them.
Oh, it's great. It's
Okay?
very good.
Yeah,
Now,
you can see.
Sergio, please,
Uh-huh.
if you can hold your microphone just a little close to your mouth, because
I think that I'll be holding that, yes, with my hand because
that's better.
I
Yeah.
tried to
Thank you.
attach it, yes, but it's not working so well. So, guys, thank you so much, Anna, for the invitation. Thank you, everybody who is here, for the audience. Yes, as you see, I have a very, let's say, interesting, not to say crazy, curriculum. And what Anna said about my favorite hobby, it's really something amazing to be a grandfather, something that I never thought would happen to me. But I had two children from my first marriage, and my children now are grown ups. My daughter has just become 30 years old. She became 30 yesterday, and she's married to Vitor, as Anna said, and they gave me Clara, my granddaughter. I also have a son who is also 27, almost 30. Yeah, in 3 years' time he'll be 30, and they are my treasure. Yeah, my partner Andrea, who lives with me and is my love, is also here watching the conference. Let's say the lecture. Yes, from away. He's not online, but he's listening to everything. And I am really glad to be able to talk about artificial intelligence because it's going to be something that will be changing, yes, our worldview, not only our habits, yes. And I'd like to begin with this question, yeah. But before asking the question and showing you this quote, I'd like to say that after one block, I will give you a chance to ask questions and interact. Then we are going to have another block and the same thing will be done, okay? And before the conclusion again. So you're going to interact sometimes here. You can talk in English, preferably, but if somebody is really um, a beginner, yeah, and you don't feel comfortable to ask a question with vocabulary that you don't know, you can also ask in Portuguese. I'll try to answer in English, okay? So, first of all, what's intelligence? That's a good question because we take for granted that everybody knows. And sometimes we don't know ourselves. So, intelligence is tied to a system's ability to adapt and improvise in a new environment, to generalize its knowledge and apply it to unfamiliar scenarios. This is a quote by one of the most intelligent guys, yes, of the moment. He's a researcher at Google, and he also created a machine learning software called Keras. His name is Francois Cholet. That's how they pronounce his name. Yeah, he's French, if I'm not wrong. And this sentence, this quote, says a lot about what intelligence is in general. Yeah, intelligence is not only about memorizing data. Yeah, that's more about memory. Intelligence is about how to work that data and how to deal with everything that uh, appears on the way, let's say, in in an effective manner, in a manner that you can overcome the challenges and thrive, make progress. Okay, so AI, artificial intelligence, AI must be capable of performing three operations at least. Okay, basically they have to be able to learn, they have to be able to reason, and they have to be able to solve problems. When I say they have to be able, I'm talking about the systems, yes, the machines that will be operating with AI. And that seems to be something simple, but it's not simple. Because when we say generalized learning, we are not only thinking about inputting data. We are thinking about a system that can learn by itself. It can consider all the possibilities by itself and apply the best solution by itself without any human interference. So that's a huge step beyond anything related to programming as we have seen so far with computers. Yeah, it goes far beyond that, although it takes it as as a start to a starting point. So there are three levels of artificial intelligence. There is the artificial narrow intelligence, ANI, which is designed to perform singular tasks. For example, driving cars, facial recognition systems, voice assistants like Alexa. Yeah, these are artificial narrow intelligence. They cannot do many things. They do some things they were programmed for, but they are already, let's say, one level of artificial intelligence. The second level, a higher level, would be artificial general intelligence, AGI. It mines human intelligence and behavior. It means it imitates human intelligence and behavior. That's what mimes here means. Yeah? And it's still being developed. It's not fully developed, but it's very advanced. And there is artificial superintelligence, ASI. That's when machines become self aware, they become self conscious, like human beings are. They know who they are, what role they play. Yeah. They understand what's going on around them. They are expected to surpass human intelligence and capacity. It may take long, but it's going to happen. Yeah. Everything is taking is dealing, sorry, better saying, everything is taking is leading to that objective. So some examples of AI functioning right now, not something in the future, not something that's going to happen one day as a utopia. No, something happening now. You have Amazon Go. Amazon Go is a type of grocery store. You go there, cameras will be watching over you. They will recognize what you are interested in by the look of your eyes, the movement of your hands, how your head moves, in front of the shelves, and they will suggest products that will probably interest you. Alongside with that, Alexa suggests recipes, for example. Suppose you're looking at some mushrooms. Alexa will tell you what recipes you can prepare with the mushrooms you have just looking at. You have just looked at. And then with the recipes that Alexa is suggesting, other products will be suggested too. So you are encouraged to buy more. After you have done your shopping, you don't have to face up queues, lines in front of a cashier. No, everything is done through your mobile. And you might say, but does this shop already exist? Yes, it does. The first shop of this kind was set up in the Silicon Valley, of course. Yeah. But they plan to have 50 more stores, like this very soon. So this is something that's relying totally, or let's say, uh, principally on artificial intelligence. The second case, that's an interesting case, is self-driving cars. But there is one thing that we cannot ignore. Self-driving cars are not only cars that can move by themselves. They have to make decisions. And that's the biggest challenge. Self-driving cars can already move around. They can, in a place that's limited, controlled, they can do lots of things. The question is, are they capable of judging what to do and what not to do? For example, while they are driving, for example, there is a child near the road. The car should slow down. But then you have a dog on the other side of the road. The dog can run before the child, or the child can run before the dog. What does the car do if the car has to decide which life to save? So that's something that's not possible yet. They are working on it, on that. The car must have uh, a pattern of judgment that takes life, of course, as the most important thing to save, but also consider all types of situations. For example, an old lady crossing the street will be slower than an adult, for example, who is not old, who is not a senior. How is the car going to calculate that, considering the type of person who is doing the action, in case it has to stop, suddenly, or maybe maneuver somehow? So there are many challenges involving self-driving cars, but they are very advanced. And experts say that it might be true that self-driving cars will be around in 10 or 20, maybe 30 years, maybe not more than that, not longer than 30. Then we have AI in medicine, which is something very interesting too, because it can save lives. Yeah. AI can read an X-ray of the lungs and understand what's going on and suggest treatment. High precision sensors can also scan the human body, identify health issues, and prevent illnesses or suggest treatment long before the illness is a problem that cannot be solved. Yeah. Siemens is already working on that. Yeah, they have, a project that's really developed, and they are already selling this type of machine. The thing is, when you have X-rays, when you're dealing with X-rays, usually a human being has to feed the machine with many X-rays of many lungs and different problems with the lungs until the machine can really understand how to identify the problem and suggest treatment. But they are working in a way that in the future, the machine will be learning by itself in interaction with other human beings and even other machines. And they won't need to be fed anymore with data by human beings. So this is something amazing, but also a little bit scary, considering that it might create problems for the labor market, for example. Yeah. We have AI and rehabilitation. This guy here, Dr. Hugh Herr, he's the founder of Bionx, and he uses prostheses to walk, as you can see on this photo. But one thing that's interesting, he's not the type of person who walks with some kind of difficulty. He climbs mountains, he does abseiling, he practices extreme sports of several kinds. And the most interesting thing is, all of those prostheses that he is using in the legs or any other that might be included later, they are controlled by the brain. Brain signals are read by a computer, and what he wants to do, the artificial leg will do, the prosthesis will do, just by the power of the communication between the brain and the machine. So that's why the last sentence here on this slide is the handcuffs of disability have been broken at last. Handcuffs when you put people in chains, like bandits, they are broken. Because from now on, it will be possible for human beings to be even more effective with prostheses that are connected to AI systems than human beings who are not in need of them. This is something really life changing. This guy here, Neil Harbison, he says that he listens to color. If you want later, Lucia may send you the link so you can listen to his TED talk about that. What does he mean by listening to color? Okay, he is the first recognized human cyborg. He wears a head-mounted antenna attached to a chip at the back of his skull. Skull is the like the bones of the head. Okay, and that allows him to perceive colors through sound. So now he's not only using or wearing technology. Okay, technology is becoming part of his body. He was the first guy to have a permission to take a photo for a passport and other documents wearing that stuff. Because when you take a photo for passports or stuff like this, ID cards, you cannot have anything on your face, not even glasses. And he was allowed to keep the equipment on because it's considered as part of his body now. So this is something really incredible. Now, this guy here, probably you know very well, Elon Musk, is going to be the guy who will gather $1 trillion for the first time in history in a few months ahead. He said, humans will need to digitally enhance their brains if they are to remain relevant in a future filled with artificial intelligences. So, according to Elon Musk, if we want to thrive, to make progress, to survive, to grow in this new world that's being built right now, we will need to enhance our brains. And you will say, how? Practicing memory games? Maybe learning new languages only? No. Adding data through study and review? No. By using technology. What he means is that there, there will be one moment in life ahead, maybe not far away from now, when human beings will be able to enlarge, to maximize their capacity as we do with computers when we upgrade the system or change, the 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 software of that hardware. Maybe our hardware will be able to be upgraded too because of everything that we said before here. But not only that, not only our hardware, our physical body, our minds will be able to be enhanced by technology, just like the software of a computer. That's something encouraging, challenging, but also scaring. And then I'd like to ask you here as a group, what other positive applications of AI can you think of? We saw some here about medicine, about driving cars, about people with some kind of disability. But what else can you think of? Can you suggest some ideas in which AI can make our lives better, easier, or more effective? Now it's up to you. If you want to say anything orally, you can. If you if you type, I'm going to ask Anna to read it for me because as I'm using a tablet, I cannot read the chat box. I can only see the
Okay.
presentation. Okay. Do you feel hopeful or afraid? What other
Or
applications?
maybe, hopefully, you're not using Google.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Can I start the list? I am
Yes, you
so,
can.
oh my
Yeah.
God. What about cleaning the house? Can
Excellent. Excellent. That's a good one. That probably will
I went
happen.
mute. What about cleaning? Yeah.
Yeah. That probably will happen in a very short space of time because
Yeah.
we are going to see that there are some companies working on the production of humanoid robots. So if everything goes according to plan, We may have housekeepers, for example, as
Uh-huh.
robots. And then what problem do you think it will bring about? It's a solution that brings about another problem. What problem?
Problems. I don't see any problems. Oh my God, that's paradise. Come on. Okay, what
For
problem?
the person who has the robot, it's excellent.
Oh God.
But
Well, there will be more unemployment. There will be more
exactly,
unemployment. People will lose their
exactly.
jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Many times, housekeepers are people who didn't have a chance to study much and
Yeah.
they cannot find a good position
Yeah.
in the labor market. So,
Mhm.
if everything they can do, or they think they can do, maybe they can do more than that, but they think they can do that thing, is taken away from them,
Yeah.
it's going to become really a problem, having so many people unemployed. But on the other hand, for the person who is using the robot, it's excellent because it's effective, it never gets sick. If there is a problem, you can even maybe replace the robot if you have an insurance plan, like cars today. If your car breaks down, the company replaces your car
Mhm.
until the other one is fixed. Imagine that, yes? So this is really something amazing, but at the same time, it can create some other
Yeah,
problems. Yeah.
it is.
Uh-huh.
Come on,
Any other?
guys. What are your contributions? You can speak, you can write in Portuguese, no problem. If you don't feel
Mhm.
uh, confident to write in English, you can also write in Portuguese.
Uh, so, uh, as I said before, about the drivers, drunk drivers, I
Uh-huh.
think it could help these people when they think about these their cars, and I think the AI can help these people to
Yeah.
take this car, their
Mhm.
cars.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Totally, totally plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe the entertainment area will encourage this a lot because who else is more interested in selling drinks and having people come around without any problems than the entertainment area? But that can also create a problem to another group of people. Can you think of the other group of people that can be affected by that? Who do you usually resort to if you drink a little and you cannot drive? Who do you call usually if you're a little high?
Yeah. You mean the application drivers?
Exactly. Uber,
Mm-hmm.
99, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Taxis too
Uber,
in
Mariana
general.
put there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
These people will have a big problem when it's implemented because the companies will be able to have their own cars
Yeah.
without paying anybody else. Yes, you just call, the car will go to you, it will go up to your location,
Yeah.
and all the money will go to the company. No need to share the profit with a driver, a
Yeah.
personal driver, a man or a woman. Yeah, good, very good.
So
Any others?
you mean what? Any other negative point? Any other drawback
Or,
about
or positive applications
drunken
too, because
drivers? That what
yeah,
Felipe said,
yeah,
or
yeah.
about what? About drunken
Yeah,
drivers?
this is okay. And about positive applications too, because you will see, guys, that if you give a positive application, probably we can think about a downside. But if
Mm-hmm.
you give an idea about something negative, we can also see a bright side on it. There is always this kind of balance,
Yeah.
between, let's say, good and evil in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the use of things. Yes. One more chance for anyone who feels like saying something before we go on. No? So you can keep it for later, no problem. Later you can tell me what you think. Something negative about artificial intelligence. Intelligent autonomous weapons. It's not the fact that we have weapons that we can control from far away. No. It's about creating weapons that will be able to go, to a war field, for example, and do whatever is necessary to do to accomplish the mission. The machine will make the decisions, the machine will take action, everything will be done by the machine. And then this problem of intelligent autonomous weapons is raising an issue to legislators around the world because the threat that these devices pose is something so serious, so dark, that we need to create laws to regulate their use. But imagine that a machine that can enter a city and do what it was told to do, but it doesn't need to have any other type of control by a man or a woman behind. It will do all the job by itself. No mercy, no pity, nothing. Only accomplishing the goal. Even at war, there are some rules that must be obeyed. That's why when a president of a company, or a president of a country, or a king, a queen, whatever. Yeah, there are so many in the world right now. People think only about England. In the Middle East, there are many. In Saudi Arabia, for example, there are kings. There is a king there governing. Uh, if it's a president, a prime minister, or a king, a queen, when they give an order in terms of war, they are responsible for the order. If they commit war crime, they can be judged by an international court. What if machines do the work by themselves? It's much more difficult to oppose them because they are very intelligent. They can identify what you're planning to do and anticipate, your movement much better than a human being. And they cannot go to court. Who is going to go to court if there is nobody controlling them? Those issues might have an answer, but it's not an easy answer. And legislators are working on that right now, especially in high level courts and organizations related to the UN, etc. There is also AI and the law. In China, for example, if you jaywalk, when you walk around the cars instead of crossing the street on the zebra crossing, you can be fined. But now you are not only fined, there is something called social credit score. This social credit score is important for you to do everything in China, from getting a loan from the bank to working in a job, for example, for a company. So if your social credit score is low, you don't get a job, you don't get a loan, you cannot travel, you cannot get a passport. And nowadays, there are surveillance cameras connected to AI identifying people who break the law, even small things, and they are registering all of that in database, devices, and institutions as banks and employers can resort to those devices, to those database, and learn more about each of the citizens. So this is something that's being criticized by many people, especially people who work with human rights and civil rights. But this is going on right now in China. This is not something that will happen one day. It's happening right now. It's a fact that in many places crime has decreased, but it's also a fact that privacy, the right to your own data, is at risk. Yeah. And then this guy called Yuval Noah Harari, who you know probably because of Sapiens and Homo Deus, he's a great writer, historian, professor. He said this: if a government or company can know you a little better than you know yourself, you will become someone easy to manipulate. And what is he saying by that? He's saying that there are things that the government and some companies know about us that not even our mothers know about us. Sometimes we don't know about ourselves. And they can manipulate information, stimuli, to us. For example, if a company like Google can understand what type of hobby I like to do in my free time, they might try to sell me things related to the hobby. This is something very simple and maybe not really serious, but there are many other things that can be very serious. For example, in some countries, if you are gay, you can be arrested, you can be killed. What if a company has data about you, even if you are in the closet, that identifies you as a gay man or a gay woman? They can manipulate that information whenever they want. If you live in a country where you can be blackmailed because of that, they can blackmail you. And you are not going to come, probably, to the light, yes, and say, hey, I'm being blackmailed because I'm gay. For example, if you're in Russia, as soon as you say that, you will be under arrest. You're not going to be taken to the police station to identify who committed this crime against you. You will be the person arrested. Because in Russia, Vladimir Putin, some years ago, almost more than 10 years ago, 15 or something, he got the Congress to pass a law saying that any gay propaganda is subjected to prison. The person who is doing it will be arrested. And by gay propaganda, it means that if you just say you're gay or you act gay, you can be arrested. Now, what if you live in a very well planned closet? It seems to be perfect, flawless. But then there is this company in Russia that has a lot of information about you. And this information can connect you to the community named LGBT. You can be under arrest. You can be denied a job without knowing why. Many things can happen. So, information is not only about what flavor of chocolate do I prefer. It's not only that. There is a lot involved. And the more you have information about someone, the more you have power over that person or company or government. And then there is also another point, AI, for example, and the fiction of free will. We all think that we have free will, especially religion preaches it a lot. Yes, free will, free will. You can choose, you can always choose. But it's something controversial. Philosophically speaking, free will is not something that's common ground. Not at all. It's very much discussed, and philosophers tend to suspect that we don't have real free will. We make decisions, but the thing is, we are not free to choose. We are not free to choose, better saying, whatever we prefer. For example, what I mean is this. I choose to become a teacher. And that's what I chose really in the past. I chose to become a teacher at some moment of my life. But why did I make that choice? There were several things that led me into making that choice. Things that were not even under my control, that I'm not aware of. So, how free is a decision that's made under the pressure of some factors that I cannot even identify in myself or around me? It's a coincidence, I don't know, that in my family there are many teachers. Maybe not. Maybe I am not only a teacher because I love being a teacher and because I can teach um, with a certain degree of success. Maybe there are other things, long before I made the decision of becoming a teacher that were influencing me, even when I was a child, without noticing. Now, the thing is, if our choices are not totally free, they really depend on a number of genetic, hormonal, social, cultural factors. How can someone manipulate those factors in order to make me want something that I probably didn't want at first? And that's something that is being combined: infotech, information technology, and biotech, technology about our biology, information about the way we function, biologically speaking, genetically, hormonally, etc. And then the thing is, if they can create AI in a manner that it can learn from the human brain and also manipulate our brain because it understands our functioning better than we do ourselves. So there are many things that can be done by companies, governments, and other institutions to make us want something that probably we wouldn't want at first. Nowadays, we see a lot of people making bad decisions based on fake news. That's something that's common ground. But imagine if I don't need to provide you with fake news to manipulate you. If I can somehow understand how you function, in levels that are a lot deeper than that, and then manipulate your will, especially if we are already using devices to enhance our brain or our body, as we saw before in the quote by, I forgot his name now, the guy of Tesla, Elon Musk. Yeah. If what Elon Musk really comes to happen one day, how can I be sure that the device that's enhancing my brain power is not changing my brain functioning too, in a way that I do things that I wouldn't do without that? And then my question is, what other dangerous applications of AI can you think of? I was asking about the positive ones before. Now I'm talking about some of the negative ones. Can you think about other negative uses of this technology? Other dangers?
Deixar, Mariana escreveu em português, tá, Sérgio? Deixar
Ok.
uma inteligência artificial em controle de coisas perigosas, como armas, me dá um pouco de medo. Yeah, that's
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you, Mariana, for that comment.
yeah,
It also scares me, especially when I think that there are people like Putin and some of his friends in the world. And Putin is not the only one. Huh? We know George Bush
yeah,
devastated lots of countries in the Middle East, yes,
yeah.
under that excuse of fighting terrorism. That's really dangerous. Yeah. Imagine that kind of thing in the hands of our governors, president, mayors, etc. Imagine that, yeah?
People we cannot trust. Well, for them, it
Yes.
would be artificial stupidity,
Yeah.
intelligence. Artificial
Probably.
stupidity. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Any other ideas? No? So I'm going to give you
Oh,
something
Renato
teasing
is
here.
saying,
Oh, yes. Go on.
Renato says, Sérgio, the
Uh-huh.
Terminator, he remembers the movie The Terminator, when there is a rebellion, onde acontece uma rebelião das máquinas. Esse é um filme. I
Yeah,
remember that
yeah.
movie too, Renato.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And it's
É
interesting
um
because
medo danado.
yeah, it
Sad.
seems that the cinema industry was
Yeah.
previewing many things that
Yeah.
could happen in the
Yeah.
future. And at that time, we thought, oh no, it's just impossible. Nowadays, we see it's absolutely plausible. Yeah, more and more,
Yeah.
incredibly.
But I
Very
don't
good
know,
idea.
Sergio, if you have read about, but
Hmm.
I don't know if it's an urban legend, but it says that
Uh,
Alexa is kind of spying our homes. Have
it
you
might
heard
be,
about it? I don't
yeah,
know if
it might
it's
be
fake
true.
news.
Yes, I have heard of it, but I am not sure if it's fake or not because
Yeah.
it's possible. For example, we both had a student, Anna, in another place where he worked before. That
Uh-huh.
was he was an executive with
Uh-huh.
a very important telecommunication company, and
Uh-huh.
he said, "Sergio, the only way for you to make sure you're not being heard, recorded, or anything else, the only way is not by shutting down your cell phone. The only way
That's
is
true.
not allowing any microphone or camera
In
to
your cell
access
phone. That's
your
so
cell
true.
phone. But
Yeah.
the problem is that you cannot have WhatsApp if you don't allow this access,
Yeah.
or you cannot record a video on Instagram if you don't
Mm-hmm.
allow this access. And once you have allowed it, you cannot retrieve it.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so if they want to use information that you are sharing around with people
Uh-huh.
talking, they will. And you might know, guys, you might have
Yeah.
probably experienced the same. Sometimes you are talking about something that you have never seen on Instagram.
Yeah.
Suddenly, there is an advertisement about that
Yeah.
in front of you. How come? How did it happen? Was it
Because
a
Google
coincidence?
reads your mind.
Yeah, they listen to you. They listen. I remember talking to Andre here about a trip that we had never gone on.
Uh-huh.
When I opened Instagram, the trip was being offered. You see, the trip was being offered to the same
Mariana says,
destination.
Mariana Mello Cés, verdade. Uma vez eu estava comentando com um amigo meu sobre um certo assunto. Do nada começou a aparecer anúncios sobre a mesma coisa que eu estava falando. Oh my God.
Exactly. That's true. That's true.
Oh,
And that's
Jesus,
a
juro.
real life experience that confirms what we are thinking about here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so weird. That's
Imagine.
weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Good. So
You
I
know, the
am
first
going
time
to.
it happened to me, I thought it was a spirit. To be very honest, it happened to me. Oh God, I said, gee, how can you?
Yeah, it's incredible. I am going to move on, guys, because of our time too. But robot lovers might be a new revolution. And you say, what? It's becoming too sexual. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Lovotics, that's the name. It refers to the research of human to robot relationship. So it's a way of producing, it's a new manner, a new fashion of producing robots with artificial intelligence that might interact with human beings, not only answering questions like, for example, suppose you have there a robot called Sarah, and then you say, Sarah, what's the date? And Sarah says the date. Not only that, no. They want the robot to be able to engage in any type of conversation. Notice your tone of voice, facial expression. Observe if you're happy, sad, afraid, doubtful, if you're wondering, if you're in love, and respond to that. And this kind of thing, guys, is going far, really. You can have a robot like that starting from $12,000. And it's not that advanced yet, yes, but it's becoming more and more. There is a California company that's offering female sex robots that can be, they have swappable faces. They can be transformed. You can use any of the faces you can see on the right side of the screen. Yeah. And hair and everything. And this robot can wink, chat, and murmur sweet things. It's a very simple prototype of what's coming ahead. Okay. Of course, in the future, they'll be much more developed. They are working on that. And they say that the challenge was to make a male robot, but they are also working on that. And male robots are on the verge of appearing with penises. yeah, working perfectly, yeah, for a machine at last, uh, for a machine at least, I mean, yes. And the thing is it going to change the way human beings relate to each other? There is a guy, I don't know if he's from Japan or China, but he's from the East, Far East. He married a robot and he introduced the robot to his family as his wife. And the robot is not even as human like as this one here. It's a lot less developed. And there is a lot of controversy going on about that. Because if that happens really, if people can even marry robots, the law will have to get adapted to this new reality. Yeah. And imagine, how many changes will come up in human behavior because of that. What other roles do you think robots with AI equipped brains will play in the future? Would you buy a robot? What for? Anna said she would like to have one to do housework. What about lovers? Would you like to have a robot as a lover? Somebody who'd never complain about your dinner or the flowers you brought home or the chocolate? What do you think about this, guys? What makes people want to relate to machines instead of human beings?
But that reminds me of another movie, AI,
Yeah,
artificial intelligence, with that
yeah,
boy. Oh my
yeah,
God, I cried a
yeah, me
lot.
too. I saw that film too. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
Really, really moving. Yeah,
yeah. About the kid. Yeah, the
yeah,
robot kid.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. And he was a kid, a robot that the father bought to
Yeah,
the mother
yeah,
because the mother had lost a child. You
yeah,
see, it was really playing the role of being affectionate, yes, but
yeah.
she never accepted him as a child because she always thought it's a machine. I am not going to say that I love a machine, but the
Uh-huh.
robot gained so much self awareness
Yeah.
that he really missed listening.
Mhm.
I love you, my son. I love you, my dear. And
Yeah,
he fought with all his strength to have a moment with her like that. And then Spielberg, I think it was Spielberg who made
yeah,
this film, he introduces ETs, to bring the mother back because the mother is
yeah.
dead. The mother died centuries before.
Yeah.
There is a lot of fiction there too. But the fact that a robot can become self aware and even deal with human beings as
Yeah.
another human being is very close nowadays to happen. Yeah. What do you
Mariana
think, guys,
says that
about
she would buy one to clean the house
that?
as well, like
Great.
me, okay? She would buy one.
Great.
Yeah, we are in panic about this. So we have to clean and cook, and
Yeah.
that's what we have to do. Well,
That reminds
anybody?
us of the Jetsons too.
The
Yeah.
Jetsons, yeah, the
Yeah.
Jetsons.
They had a robot for a housekeeper.
I think the Simpsons too. Yeah, the Simpsons, they
Ah,
predict everything. Yeah. So they might have
they might
had
have
a
said something
robot.
about it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else? So I am going to come to the bottom line of the meeting, okay?
Okay.
AI and its applications will eventually prevail over other forms of production and consumption because production and consumption are the basis of any economy. Now imagine robots producing, we are consuming, okay, no problem, but they are also consuming. So they will become workers and consumers too. No matter if we still have jobs, and if we consume a lot, there will be another class of workers and consumers. And that's something really interesting. Yeah, let alone personal relationships, as we have just seen. Yeah. So the underlying question is: are we ready for its drawbacks, for the problems, that this kind of technology will bring up? We will need a whole bunch of policies to prevent violations of all kinds, be them against humans, robots, or a combination of the two. Yeah, because we are very prone to become less human in terms of our body parts, body members, body limbs, etc., and more like robots. Because imagine a person lost an arm, you can replace it. And with artificial intelligence, the brain will command the arm. But you can do that with everything. What if we come to a point where we can just change pieces, when there is a problem, if the brain is working well? And what if we come to a point when we can enhance the brain through artificial intelligence in a way that this brain will last for longer? Maybe not only 90 years old, 100 years old. Maybe it will become a lot older than that. We don't know. Yeah. So the future of mankind itself is something uncertain now. Yeah. At least mankind as we know mankind nowadays. Yeah. But probably it's part of our evolution, because what we are doing is thriving, through the difficulties, trying to overcome the problems. But by doing that, we are affected too. We don't only affect the world around, we are affected physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, culturally. Imagine, for example, robots creating art. We have always bragged, yeah, at the fact that we can make art, but nobody else can. There is no animal that can create art. What about these artificial intelligence um, devices and systems? What if they can create something even deeper than what we have created so far? That's something possible, absolutely possible. Yeah. And there is a guy who worked with that. He he fed an artificial intelligence system with lots of data, especially numbers. And then he told the equipment to create something through that. And he could project on buildings, beautiful buildings, enormous buildings, everything that the machine was producing. It's like the machine was dreaming. Imagine, it's as if the machine was dreaming, and the dreaming of the machine was appearing on the buildings. But only human beings and animals that are intelligent, like dogs and cats, can dream. And even those can dream to a certain extent. And there comes this machine, that can project what's going on in its artificial brain in a way that makes us humans filled, be filled with awe. Like, oh my God, it's so awesome. Yeah. So it's a new future, but it's already present in many ways. So all I can say is thank you for your audience and good luck, guys, because we'll need it. It's not all about pessimism. Imagine a lot of people will be healed because of artificial intelligence. A lot of people who won't be uh, imprisoned in their beds because of artificial intelligence. But there will be a lot of other developments that we have to pay attention to before they happen so that we are not caught, by surprise. Anything you'd like to say, guys? Any considerations? It's up to you.
Mariana said that she's not prepared for that yet. And I answered, nobody is.
Yes, I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
I am not either. Yeah, I'm
Who
not either.
knows, the next generations will be more accustomed, will be more,
Yeah,
will feel more at
yeah,
ease, yeah, with
yeah.
all of this new world.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
it's very probable because nowadays we see that children are much more comfortable
Yeah.
with computers, cell phones,
Yeah.
tablets,
They
internet,
teach us.
something,
They know
yeah,
everything.
something that we were not used to in the past. So probably the next generation, we will leave this generation, far
Yeah.
behind. They will
Yeah.
say, what? Cell phones? Oh, what are you talking about? Just
Yeah.
like we do with pagers, for example.
Uh-huh. That's it. Okay. Well, guys, let's clap. Yeah, do you know how to clap in a Google session? Ah, Renato said, sorry. Renato
Uh-huh.
Viana said. Essa semana eu assisti um vídeo do SpaceX, onde eles enviaram um carro para o espaço através de um foguete controlado por AI, por inteligência artificial. E ainda retornou à Terra pousando suavemente. Oh my God!
Wow, you see?
Yeah.
That's it. And
Okay.
to the space, there is one thing that's
Uh-huh.
kind of less difficult. You don't have people around, animals, you know, natural accidents happening all the time, like a self-driving car would have. So it's from that point of view a little easier for you to make a machine like that go and return than
Yeah.
a car, you know, driving around in a big city.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that might sound crazy, but that's
Uh-huh.
true. We take many more risks, you know, in a town
Yeah,
than
in a
in the
town there are
space.
lots of obstacles.
Yes,
People
exactly.
crossing the
But it's
streets.
amazing anyway because
It's
imagine
amazing.
in the past we could not think about flying. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, like flying like we fly nowadays. Yes,
Yeah.
planes, helicopters, etc. Then we went to space, and now we don't need to go to space anymore. We can send the machines,
Yeah, we
and they
can.
will do the work better than us.
Yeah,
That
that's
will
true.
be done in our
That's
field of
in our
job too,
virtual
guys.
reality.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
our field of job, whatever field.
Yes, that's it. Okay, people,
Thank
let's
you.
clap. Let's clap, Sergio. It's our
Uh,
virtual clap.
You deserve it too, guys. Thank you so much for being nice.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I was a little bit nervous in the beginning. Sometimes I was not connecting ideas so quickly, so well. But I hope you haven't
Yeah.
noticed that.
Yeah. But anyway, everything is there. It's
Yeah.
the session has been recorded and it will
Yes.
be on Instagram, on EA Language School Instagram, the
Great.
recording. And if Sergio can do it, he can share his slides with us.
Yes, I will. I will. I
Yeah.
will share it with you, and then you can send to everybody. No problem at all. There is no
Oh, thank you
problem.
very much. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much,
That
Sergio.
was my plan too. Thank
Okay,
you.
well, guys, that's it. Would you like to say anything else, Sergio?
No, I just want to thank you for everything, for your audience, your patience, as Fauston says, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I
Oh,
wish you the best, really.
close your presentation so that we can see your
Ah,
face.
okay, I
Um,
will.
and
Yes,
we
I
can
will.
have a
Uh,
photo. Let's take a photo.
yeah,
Yeah,
great,
for
great
this
idea. Just
moment. We need a
let
photo.
me just
Although
see.
everyone is using, can you please open your cameras just for a photo, class? Come on, if you can. Just a little photo. Sérgio, too.
Yeah, am I not? Oh my God, I thought it was.
Can you?
Yeah,
Ah,
here.
all right. I will
Thank you.
print.
Sorry.
Yeah, Renato is there. Ah, Felipe. Ah, thank you, Renato. Thank you for opening. Yeah, I know there are people who are shy, who might be in pajamas, but it's okay. It's part of the game. I will print just to have. Ah, Mariana is shy. She says, okay. I have printed and I will share this photo. And then afterwards, the photo will be with you, Sergio.
Okay, oh,
We'll
there's
find a
Monica.
way. Yeah, let me take another.
José too. Hello,
Ah,
José.
José Ferraz. There he is. Mônica Haddad, finally. Another one. And I will share the photo with EA. Yeah. There it is. Ah, smiling. Now it's wonderful. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for your presence. And let's have once in a while, not once in a while, once in a month, let's have a session like that. Thank you, Sergio. You were
Thank
amazing.
you.
Your
It was a
presence was
pleasure.
so, so interesting, so involving, as always. Okay?
Great.
You
Thank you
were
so much.
really cool. We loved it. All right? Bye-bye, people. I will disconnect because I have to teach. I have to teach
Me
Renato
too.
and Marisa. Bye-bye,
Bye bye.
everyone. See you.
Isso.